What's happening, guys? Happy Friday, and yes, the Premier League is finally back, guys. For me, not gonna lie, Premier League season starts on Monday, but I will be there as a hater to watch Manchester City, of course, versus Burnley today to kick off the Premier League 23-24 season, and of course, it's a Friday Night Lights a bit earlier than usual because of the football, obviously later this evening, but also today we're going to be talking about the season expectations, predictions. How far do you expect us to make it in the Champions League? Do you expect a Premier League title run? What are we expecting from this Manchester United team and Eric Ten Hag's second year at Manchester United? Of course, I think it's been a madness of a 24 hours in the transfer window, guys. And it's nice that Manchester United are not really involved in the madness that has been happening. Of course, Caicedo, Liverpool, Harry Kane, Bayern Munich, all of that stuff. It's been a hectic 24 hours. But Premier League Mubarak, guys. The Premier League is finally here. And I'm really excited because, guys, I don't know why. I feel a bit optimistic about the Premier League season this year. Not just the Premier League season, just the season as a whole. I feel a bit optimistic. I feel a bit like we might be able to do a little something. We're going to talk about, how we see the Premier League table shaping up and, relegation predictions. Who's going to be the first manager to get sacked? I mean, Wolves' manager has already left, but the season hadn't even started. So I want to hear you lot's predictions. Who you lot think will be the first manager to get sacked? All of that. Big up everybody in the chat. As always, shout out to Eric Reed, says, love me some Friday Night Lights. You're the truth. I appreciate it. Big up to Cab, says, big up Mina. Big up yourself. Hope you're having a wonderful Friday evening. Big up Palmyra, says, come on Burnley. We are all Burnley this evening. I can't lie. I'm interested to see how Vincent Kompany and his team shape up. I know obviously they won the championship by a mile last season. And it was Kompany's debut season with Burnley. I'm just there to be a hater, guys. I'm here to be a hater in full force. I want Manchester City to start the season negatively. I want everyone to start the season negatively, and of course I want Manchester United to start as good as possible. Big up to Aminor, says, Mina, I hope you're well, sister. I am in the Lake District with the family. I hope you're enjoying the Lake District. That's a beautiful place. I've been there before. That's a beautiful place. But guys, we're going to get right into it. Big up to Jaden, says, winning the Champions League would mean more to me. Not gonna lie. We're going to get into it because I want to hear you guys' expectations, your predictions. We're going to start with specifically aimed at Manchester United, of course. And for me, I think the season expectations is win a domestic cup, whether that's the Premier League or the FA Cup. I can't lie. I don't want no Carabao Cup, and that's not me being... it's not me being picky or anything, but I just think, the next up from last season is for us to win an FA Cup or a Premier League title. And I think it says it here below, we must progress far in the UEFA Champions League. Obviously, the groups are not out yet, but I know that Manchester United are in pot 2. All the champions of the leagues are in pot 1, which means we will end up in a group with someone who's won a title last year. I hope we get Feyenoord out of all of them. I think Feyenoord won the Dutch league, so I hope we get Feyenoord out of all of them. Obviously, PSG, Barcelona, but Bayern Munich, Manchester City, etc., are they're in pot 1. So for me, I think number 1 is to progress as far as we can in the Champions League. I think round of 16 is a no-brainer, but also I would also go as far to say the minimum is quarterfinals. I think minimum is quarterfinals, and the reason why is that I think we've been deprived so long of a good run in the Champions League, and I feel like to make your mark, like to announce yourself back on the European level, is to have a good Champions League run. I'm not saying we can win it, because if I'm being very honest, guys, I think Bayern Munich have the best team now. I'm not sold on Thomas Tuchel, but I think Harry Kane and Musiala is going to be a joy to watch together. They got Serge Gnabry, they got Sane, then they got Kimmich playing deep, they got Kim Min-jae in the back. They've got a decent team, I'm not going to lie. PSG, for me, I'm not sold on them whatsoever. All the Italian teams are always a bit, I don't know what it is. Nobody really has the Italian teams as favourites. Real Madrid shaping up a bit differently. No Courtois probably for the entire season. They look like they're going for Yassine Bono from Sevilla and Morocco's goalkeeper. Manchester City probably are the only ones I would go to say that look like a good team. I think they're missing. I think Gundogan leaving is going to hurt them a lot more than what people anticipate. And I think if Bernardo Silva leaves, he will be a big miss. And I don't think Paqueta, I don't think Paqueta would be a good enough of an upgrade on Bernardo Silva. I genuinely feel like Bernardo Silva and Gundogan, two of the most underrated players in that Manchester City team. When people talk about Pep's system at Manchester City, they gotta give credit to Gundogan. If you're a football fan, obviously, as a United fan, I don't want to give them credit, but as a football fan, I think Gundogan's absence will be felt by Manchester City. So I still think Manchester City can make a deep run. It's hard for me to make predictions in the Champions League because you don't even know how Liverpool are going to shape up. We don't know Arsenal if they're going to sign new people. Obviously, Manchester United, we know what Newcastle are saying, and obviously Manchester City. But my point is, we have to make a run in the Champions League. I'm not saying we have to go and win it. We have to get at least knockout stages, quarterfinals, minimum, guys. That for me is a minimum. But I want to see what you lot are saying quickly, and then we're going to go on to Premier League, because I think Premier League is where a lot of the conversations are to be had. Big up to Aminor says, Mina, my expectations are number one, win a cup, deep in the Champions League, and finish third or above in the league. I hear it. I hear it 100%. Big up to Mohammed says Premier League and advancing far in the Champions League. I don't think Manchester United have the capacity for that. That's a Barca fan speaking. If you guys don't know, then now you know. Big up to Rishan says win a domestic cup, deep Champions League push, last 8 at least, and third in the league. Is Mohammed to go on to say, I just want Barca out of the groups. Barca, I've seen, are having having more financial issues. They still haven't registered Gundogan. I don't know what's happening with that. Can't believe we've been grouped 2 years in a row. Catastrophic. Big up to Eric says semis in Champions League and second in the league. And we're going to talk about the league because big up to Cabs asks me the question here saying, Mina, where do you think United will finish this season? I think we can finish second. The difficult part about making predictions, I think, when there's still like a couple of weeks left of the transfer window, is that you don't even know how we don't know how we're going to line up, and we don't know how our opponents are going to line up once the transfer window closes. Obviously, we are linked to get a new centre back. We will probably get a new centre back. We'll probably get a midfielder. Will we get in another striker, especially with Tony Martial? It looks like he's not going to really be playing, so we're going to go out and get another striker. Are we going to have 7 players after the transfer window? I don't know, but one thing I do have to say is that I hold this standard to Manchester United men and women. I say that whatever we do the last season, we have to do one up. We can't, I've seen people saying Man United gonna finish 4th. We finished 3rd last season. If we finish 4th, then that's worse than last season. I know that there's a lot of other factors that play into it, such as points and goals conceded and goal difference, all of that kind of stuff, number of losses, wins, all of that stuff. But I think, for me, I think we can finish second. And I big up to Cabs, because I agree with Cabs. I feel I have a good feeling about the season. I've never had a feeling like this before, guys. It's a very unusual feeling to have as a United fan over the last number of years. I'm optimistic, especially because I feel like transfer window, we aren't done with business. Obviously, I'm a bit concerned about Rasmus Højlund and whether, how long it's going to take for him to play. They're saying Arsenal game is probably when he'll make his debut, maybe even after that. So I'm not too sure about that. But if we just focus on Manchester United and we don't think about, rivals, Liverpool, Arsenal, City, etc. If we just focus solely on Manchester United, I think, firstly, we don't have a good... we always have difficult run of games. I genuinely don't know what it is with the FA or whoever it is that does the scheduling. It's like they see Manchester United and think, we're going to give them a difficult run of games. And I'm going to give you guys a quick example of what I mean. To start the season, right? We've got Wolves, who I've actually got predicted to maybe get relegated next season. But we've got Wolves, then we've got Spurs, then we've got Forest, then we've got Arsenal, then we've got Brighton, then we've got Burnley, then we've got Palace, then we've got Brentford. You know how mad that is? You know how mad that is that we've got how many teams that finished in the top 8? We got Arsenal, we got Brighton, we got Spurs, newly promoted Burnley, which is understandable. We got Brentford, who, let's not forget, guys, what happened last season when we played them in the second game of the season. But the good thing is that a majority of our easier games this season, at the beginning of the season, is at home. So Wolves, we're playing home. Forest, we're playing at home. Brighton, we're playing at home. Palace, we're playing at home. Brentford, we're playing at home. And then, of course, there's the Manchester Derby in October, etc., etc. Now, I don't know what it is, but it's like we never have an easy run of fixtures, especially to end the season. I think for me is the biggest worry from March onwards. So the end of March, we've got Brentford away, then we got Chelsea away, then we got Liverpool home, we got Bournemouth away, we got Newcastle home, we got Burnley home, we got Palace away, we got Arsenal at home, then we got Brighton away. I don't know what it is, but it seems like our scheduling is always difficult now. I think there's gonna be a point in the season I will probably not do a stream or two because I'm gonna be away, and I think that's landing around the Manchester Derby. It is what it is. It's all for a good cause, but I solely focusing on us. I think if United just worry about like the fixtures that are ahead of us, not get complacent. I don't know what it is, guys. I'm really optimistic, and I do know that there might be some low moments in the season. There might be some difficult moments in the season. We're all expecting that, like one Andre Onana howler where, he gets chipped from the halfway line. We expect teams to try and attempt that. Hopefully it doesn't actually happen. But just for the season, I think Manchester United could finish second. And I don't think the title race this year will be as it's not going to be one team like in the past, or two teams. I think Liverpool are going to have some discussions there. I think City will. I think Arsenal will. I think United will be there meddling a little bit. Not saying that we'll win, but I think we'll be taking points off people and everything. So I think anything is possible. Let me know what you lot's predictions are for the Premier League for Manchester United in particular. If you have not joined my FPL, I just looked at the time. If you've not joined my FPL league, the code is in the bio below this video. You got 2 minutes, a minute and a half you've got to join. Otherwise your points will not be part of the league for the week, but you can still join and then continue throughout the season. Of course, there's quite a few people in the league. If you have what it takes to win, you get bragging rights and a couple other stuff. Join the FPL league. Big up to Aminor, says my Premier League predictions are Arsenal first, City second, United third, Liverpool fourth, Chelsea fifth, Newcastle sixth. I'm amazed at how optimistic people are about Chelsea. I'm genuinely amazed, guys. And I want to hear you guys' thoughts, because I don't want to spend the whole time talking about like rival clubs. I am not sold on Chelsea one bit this season. And the reason why I'm not sold on them is because I just feel like they've brought a bunch of random players and put them into a team together. And it's all good players, but I don't know what their scouting is like. What system are they trying to build? For example, with Brighton, it seems like Brighton's scouting and their system for recruitment is probably one of the best in the league, because they get certain players. They've just brought a player. They brought a player in January. I think he joined in the summer, but they brought him in January from AIK, the Swedish league. And he's going to slot in perfectly into their team. They already got their replacement for Caicedo if Caicedo is expected to leave. Obviously, Mohamed Kudus is one player that they're trying to get. They got Matoma, etc. They got João Pedro. What's that midfielder? And Cisco, I think is his name. I don't know what it is, but Chelsea, on the other hand, I feel like they've just gone out and just brought, they've plucked out the most randomest players, brought them. I don't think Chelsea are going to be... I think Spurs is going to shock everyone this season. I think everyone's expecting Spurs to not be good. I think they will struggle at first, but they will find their footing. I think they've got a good manager and a good system. They've got decent players. If they see the transfer window out pretty well, depending on how Daniel Levy spends this 100 million that he's just got now from Bayern Munich, it'll be very interesting. I think Spurs will shock people, but my top 4 is similar to Aminor's. I don't know who's going to win the league, so I'm not going to say I think X is going to win the league. I think Y is going to win the league. I think we can finish in the top 2. I think City will have shaky moments this season. I think everyone will, no one will kind of be smooth sailing throughout the season. But I think Spurs will shock a lot of people. Big up to Najib, says his expectation is winning the league. It's been a long time, 10 years since we won the league. I can't lie. I need a nice trophy. I need a nice trophy. I need a Champions League or a Premier League. I think next season is the year that I will be saying that Ten Hag needs to win a title, i.e. a Premier League, a Champions League. That'll be 3 years. He's spent over nearly 500 million by then in a transfer window, and I think he would have had enough time to get all the players that he wants for the system that he wants to build, and he will know the league good enough, he'll know his opponents well enough to compete with them at that title winning level. Big Up Mohammed says, yeah, but to be honest, the last 10 years, Man United have been yo-yoing so much. One season, they'll finish third. The next, they'll finish fifth. It's true, we've been inconsistent. We have been inconsistent for a long time. But we've had a change of managers. And I don't know what it is, guys. Is it just me? Am I the only one that's feeling very, very optimistic? Let me know. Am I the only one that's feeling really optimistic for the season? I remember last year coming into the season so nervous. So nervous. Big Up to Aminal says, Mina, if we just improve our away from massive losses to draws and wins, then I can see us challenging for the title. I think that's a big part as well. I think our away form is so important. That's why when I was looking at the schedule and I was just sharing the schedule with you guys, my biggest concern is the games away from home, especially in like the late part of this year, the beginning of next year. We've got some big games that are away from home. For example, in December we play Newcastle away, we play Liverpool away, and then we play West Ham away. I'm not worried about West Ham, no offense. I think West Ham might actually be one of the teams that are in a relegation battle this year, but I feel like our away form is the thing that I'm worried about. Then you go towards like the last 2-3 months of the season. We've got City away, we've got Brentford away, then we've got Chelsea away within the space of like 3-4 weeks. So that's my biggest concern. And on top of that, Champions League football. By the time it gets to hopefully February, we will be in the round of 16. I will be so upset if we get knocked out in the group stages, but we'll be in the round of 16 by then. And obviously you guys know what it's like. In February, it always seems like we have a congested run of games. This season in particular coming up in February, we've only got 4 games, which is good, but we could have a Carabao Cup fixture. We could have 2 legs for Champions League. So there might be a lot of games to be played in February. But guys, the good thing is in February, we are playing mid-table teams. I think it's West Ham, Luton, Fulham, and also Aston Villa away, which I think Aston Villa is a dark horse for the season. Big Up to Eric says, we will actually have some depth this year and the drop-off won't be close to as bad as last season. I agree. I think we got a better looking bench this year. Obviously, if the players are looking more in form, then I'm not too worried about our bench. Big Up to Eric says, City, United, Arsenal, Liverpool, Chelsea, Newcastle. Chelsea doesn't have European football this season, so I think they will be top 6. Big Up to Adam in the chat says, Big Up Mina and the chat. It seems like everybody's kind of like, it's either City or Arsenal to win the league. That's a lot of the predictions that I'm seeing. Big Up Cab says, Man City first, United second, Arsenal third, Newcastle fourth, Liverpool fifth, Chelsea sixth. I'm amazed at how I'm genuinely amazed, guys, and this is not me bad mouthing, it's not me being a hater or anything. My hateration starts at 8 p.m. today when the City game kicks off. That's when the haterness kicks in. But I'm just not sold on Chelsea this year. I don't know what it is. I think Poch is a good manager, but I think a lot of the players there are not players that he wanted. It's players that he inherited. Obviously, they've brought in a lot of players this summer, and I just feel like when you have a big overhaul so suddenly, sometimes it can take some time to kind of figure out what the pieces of your puzzle is, and I think that's what Poch is going to be spending the first month or two trying to figure out what works for him, what doesn't work for him, the players that work for him, etc. But if they get Caicedo, guys, a midfield of, what is it, Enzo, Caicedo, who else they got? I don't even know, honestly, guys. I'm not being funny. I don't know who Chelsea actually have in their team. Obviously, I know they got Enzo Fernandez, Mudryk, etc., etc. And Nkunku's out injured. I forget, they still got Hakim Ziyech and Lukaku on their books. I'm just so surprised. Yeah, I'm so surprised. And I know, and I knew that, I remember we were linked to him, Malo Gusto, before the January window, we were linked to him. He's now gone to Chelsea to essentially sit on their bench. As long as Reece James stays fit, which looks like he'll probably stay fit, they've given him the captaincy, he's gone to go and sit on their bench. And he is too good of a right back to sit on anybody's bench. And I hope he regrets going to Chelsea. That's my only point. Big up to Aminor says, Mina, a Man United question for you. I'm looking forward to seeing you on UV on Sunday, but would you sell Sancho if that meant we got Harry Kane? I would sell Sancho if it meant we got Harry Kane, but it was never going to happen. So I genuinely feel like with the Harry Kane thing, Daniel Levy would have been a nightmare to work with or to deal with or to negotiate with if you're an English team. I think the best outcome for Tottenham and the ownership and Daniel Levy was for Harry Kane to go outside of the Premier League, because then they're guaranteed to sell. Bayern Munich, for me, I think is a good destination. People act like him going to Bayern Munich is him just, winning the German league, but they are actual contenders for the Champions League now. This is a guy that, because he's a bagsman, yeah, no matter what, guys. Just remember, Harry Kane was a bagsman when Spurs were poor. When he's now playing in a system under Thomas Tuchel, Jamal Musiala, like I said, Serge Gnabry, Jamal Musiala, for me, one of the, I think the best thing he ever did was leave England and go play in Germany and also not play for the England national team. I think if he was in that team with Bellingham and whatnot, and he would have, I know for a fact that they probably would have overlooked him for the England national team. For me, Jamal Musiala is probably one of the best in his age range, and I don't think he gets enough credit. So I think him with Harry Kane, with that Bayern Munich team, they're gonna look good in the Champions League. And I think people need to give credit or rate Bayern Munich a bit more. For me, what would be absolutely hilarious, yeah, is if Harry Kane obviously has gone to Bayern Munich and then Borussia Dortmund win the league. Do you know how funny that would be? That would be hilarious. The 1 year that Harry Kane comes, Borussia Dortmund win the league. That would be hilarious. Big up to Mike, says good evening, Mina. Good evening, Mike. I hope you're having a wonderful Friday evening. Big up to Adam, says City first, Arsenal second, Liverpool third, Newcastle fourth, Chelsea fifth, Man U sixth. Just because we don't create chances. Damn, you think we're going to go from finishing third to finishing sixth? Bearing in mind, we've brought a midfielder, we've brought a good goalkeeper, we've brought a striker who might not play the first few games of the season, but I'm sure he will definitely play more games in the season. We've got, obviously, Anthony, we've got Jadon Sancho looking like he's in better form, coming in from pre-season, Marcus Rashford, Bruno Fernandes, of course, Casemiro, Eric. I'm shocked that Adam thinks that we'll actually finish sixth. I think our issue last season was not that we don't create chances. If you guys look back to a lot of games, especially, I remember when we beat Everton, what was it, 3-0, what was it, in April, 4-0, I think we beat them. We could have won 10-0. We created so much chances, we just couldn't finish. Europa League, there was games in the Europa League, we were creating 20, 25, 30 chances and we were winning 1-0. I don't think our issue a lot of the time is creating chances. Maybe creating clear-cut chances is what we struggled with. But I don't think it was that we couldn't create chances. I think we could create chances, we just can't finish. And we saw that a lot in pre-season. Mason Mount, Anthony, so many players having opportunities that are clear-cut chances, through on goal and just snuffing it wide every single time. So I wouldn't say that we can't create chances. I think we're just not clinical in front of goal, and I'm hoping that I'm hoping that Rasmus Højlund will make a difference. I'm hoping Marcus Rashford, for me, after that nice contract he's gotten, after a good season last season, I'm hoping he's going to hit the ground running. Euros are coming up, so a lot of people actually have something to play for, in my opinion. A lot of international players have something to play for, especially European players. They want to get into that team. Jadon Sancho playing with a chip on his shoulder. His third season coming in at his time at Manchester United. He has to prove something. And not only does he have to prove something, I think he needs to believe in himself, because I feel like one thing that's reassuring with Erik ten Hag is that when he believes in a player, he makes it very clear he believes in them. And he's done that with Jadon Sancho. He's had his back. I want Jadon Sancho to redeem himself. It's the redeem season for him, guys. This season is redemption season. Last season, every time Rashford was bagging goals, I was saying it's redemption season. Marcus Rashford's playing with a chip on his shoulder. He's got something to prove. But this is this season for Jadon Sancho. It's redemption season for him. I really want him not only to fit into the team, and be a good option off the bench and be a good starter when he starts. But I want him to get back into that England team. I want him to get back into that England team so badly. Obviously, he's competing with a lot of people for spots in that England team. He's competing with the likes of Jared Bowen, most likely. And then, obviously, Grealish, Saka, Rashford, Foden, etc. So he has something to prove this season. And more importantly for me is that he focuses on club football. I know a lot of players want to go and play competitions for their nation, Euros, World Cup, etc. But I want him to hit the ground running and just have a good season for Manchester United and then think about England in the nearer future. Big up Dead and God says, Poch has too many problems to iron out this season for him to be able to employ the system he wants. I wouldn't worry about Chelsea until next season. I agree. I totally agree. Big up to Starlord says, big up Mina. Big up Starlord. I hope you're having a great evening. Big up to Mohammed says, I think if you guys do well against Liverpool and especially Man City, it will give you guys massive confidence. For me, I think someone mentioned it earlier. Away form against Big Six, we need to be better. We need to be better. And the first biggest test is Spurs. Spurs is our first test against the Big Seven. I guess they call it Big Seven now because of Newcastle. But Spurs is the first one in the Big Seven. And then 2 weeks later, we got Arsenal away as well. So what better time than for us to actually be prolific away from home. Big up to Mike says, smash the like button, please, people, become mini. You guys know what it is. Been lucky enough to hit 700 subscribers somewhere. And my goal, to be honest, is to hit 1k by the end of the season. Now, season finishes in May. It starts today. Can I get like 100 and what is it? My maths is really bad. I was going to say 100 and something. But can I get 224 subscribers in the space of 10 months? Maybe I can. So my goal is definitely to hit 1k by then. But if you guys are interested, obviously a lot of Premier League games on tomorrow, but also England women versus Colombia in the quarterfinals tomorrow to book a spot for the semi-finals of the Women's World Cup. I'll be doing a vibe along at 11:20 a.m. UK time. Link is already live, so you can turn on your post notifications. So when I go live, you guys will get the notification. We can watch the game together, and also I will be watching as well Arsenal versus Nottingham Forest. Won't be doing like live score updates, all of that stuff, but I'll be watching it as well. Big up to Starlord says, now Arsenal are my flop team. It would be crazy if Arsenal don't have a good season after the money that they've spent. Big up to Sidaf says, yo Mina, I think Man City won't be in the top 2. I'm seeing so many mixed, I'm seeing so many different mixed, mixed reviews in terms of what you guys think the season will be like. Big up to Nuru says, we upgraded in 3 positions in the starting 11. So yeah, I am I agree. I'm very, very optimistic. Big up to Cab says, Minna, what's your prediction tonight for Burnley game? I hope City lose. I have no prediction. I hope City lose. Do I have City players in my FPL? I think I've got one City player in my FPL, of course, which is Haaland. Everybody does. But I honestly have no prediction whatsoever. There is a few players that I like in Brighton if they're still playing for Brighton. Let me double check. Oh my god, did he leave? No, Anas Zarari. If you guys want to look for a baller, Anas Zarari, Moroccan winger for Burnley, created some of the most chances in the Championship last season. Reminds me a little bit of Ben Rahma when he was in the Championship. So make sure you guys look out for him. But of course, I think City will be favourites for that game. I was watching press conferences today and I saw that Pep said all his players were ready basically to start the season. I don't care. I'm just a hater, innit? I'm just a hater. Big up to Starlord says 50 plus goals for Kane next season. It's Bundesliga. I wouldn't be surprised if he's bagging a hat-trick every other couple games. I wouldn't be surprised. So shout out to Sidaf says, I think if you want to buy an experienced striker, it's either Mitrovic or Taremi. Won't be much to spend on. I swear Mitrovic was supposed to go to Saudi. I don't know if he's still going. I remember apparently he was going out on strike as well because they weren't trying to let him go. So I wouldn't mind again Mitrovic, but the thing is like the biggest concern for me is about how we buy people, and I guess it's just because we're in the middle of just, you know, it's a regrowth period that we're going through. The managers developing the team, etc. I think we need to find the right balance between rotational players and then starting players. For example, if we were to get to Remy, and you know what's crazy, guys? I remember, if you lot watch United View, if you watch the full view shows that we do on Monday, I remember just as the season ended, I said I wanted Mehdi Taremi as a cheaper option rather than going for an expensive striker, and I got peppered in the comments. Like, people were saying to me, nah, you don't know ball, this, that, but he's crap, he sucks, da, 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 da. And then now suddenly everybody's like, yeah, let's get Taremi. Let's get Taremi. Last year, yeah, this is before I was actually on YouTube, so I used to do podcasts and that. I was saying United should go for Taremi last summer when we needed a striker. I think it was like 45 million price tag at the time. He only had 2 years on his contract. Obviously now he's got 1 year left on his contract. He was only 28, turning 29 at the time, and I was like, he was one of the best goal scorers in the league, even after when Darwin Núñez left. Again, 1 year too late, but I would still gladly take Taremi at Manchester United, if I'm being honest. Between him and Rasmus Højlund, I would start Taremi just because I think he's proven. He's got better goal scoring quality. Obviously, Rasmus Højlund is younger, so you know his ceiling might be higher. But I think when you're trying to be clinical, experience, if we're creating the chances, if our wingers are getting opportunities into the box, if our midfielders are getting opportunities into the box, you want someone that's going to slot it home. Would I be against us having a second striker? Absolutely not. I think we need a second striker because I don't see Anthony Martial playing this season. I genuinely don't see him playing a lot. I see him maybe playing 10 minutes here, 20 minutes here, 30 minutes here. It will be a miracle if I see him play a 90-minute game. When do you guys actually think Martial will play a 90-minute game? Because I don't see him playing a 90-minute game this season, and I don't want to say he'll probably get injured or whatnot, but I'm concerned about you know his ability to be fit. Big up to Adam says we need Amrabat ASAP. I think because now that once that Fred leaves and obviously Harry Maguire leaves, I hope that speeds up the process for us to get a defender and a midfielder. Hopefully we can do it concurrently, like at the same time. Hopefully we can do it at the same time rather than doing one, bringing them in and then doing another. We should be able to do both because then the money's there. The FFP is, you know, we can slide through it, etc. Big up to Kuala, says Assalamu alaikum minna wa alaikum salam. Hope you're good, Kuala. Big up to yourself. Shout out to Pyramid, says big up Minna. What's your team name in UV FPL? My team name is Onana. I think that's I can't see it. There's a lot of people in the UV FPL. I clicked on it today and I was just like scrolling for bare long. I was thinking, right, there's a lot of people in this FPL league, but it's Onana. It used to be Danju Magic and I think I changed it by accident this season. Big up to You Get One Life, says Sancho needs to have a bit more aggression, a bit more bite like Martinez and Anthony. This is an interesting thing, you know. This is an interesting thing because when people say, having bite and aggression, I think is something that is in your temperament and personality rather than your footballing skill set. For example, I'll give you an example. For me, Odegaard is a quality player. He puts 100% into everything. Does he have aggression, bite? No, but he puts 100% into everything. I think when people talk about aggression, they talk about, you know, these not angry players, but certain types of personalities. And if you've never been that sort of player, you will never develop that sort of attribute because you've never been that kind of person. And I'm not going to be like, oh, it relates to people from certain countries or certain regions. But come on, you guys know you're more likely to be told like, yeah, you have a bit of bite, you got aggression if you come from certain regions and some certain countries. Jadon Sancho for me needs to just show his cage football. Like he talked a lot growing up about how he played cage football in London. If you lot are from the UK, you know what cage football is. You know what it's like. If you grew up in a council estate in London or anywhere in the UK, you know what cage football is. It's a football cage in the middle of a estate where everybody comes out, everyone from the neighborhood. You kick ball in that cage, 5 aside, 7 aside, whatever. And that's where you found the best people with technical skills and ability, yeah? The people that I grew up with, for example, yeah? That no one in my area ever became a professional footballer, but some of them had the best tech and ability that I've seen in football. And that's because of cage football. AstroTurf, if you grew up in the AstroTurf, if you grew up in five-a-side cage football, then you know people who are good there, they are good at the ability to keep the ball at their feet. They're very skillful players. They're not like people that score screamers and that kind of stuff. They are just one-touch football, skills, dribbling, that kind of stuff. And that's what apparently Jadon Sancho was like growing up in Kennington in South London. I need to see a bit of that. I need to see that one-touch football, that cage-like football, keeping the ball at your feet, the technical ability, you know, what they call tech. I need to see that from Jadon Sancho. Cage football it's not for the easy people. It's not for the easy people. Big up to Sidaf says the title will be between United and Arsenal. Nice. The title will be between United and Arsenal. Last year, these two teams were the best team in England. The match at Emirates was lit. Injuries and lack of squad depth were the reason they both fell off. Honestly, that Emirates game, yeah, guys. That Emirates game was a top game. I wish we got a point. I wish we got a point because it was end-to-end football. You know, the other day I was watching Arsenal versus Manchester United 2005 on Sky Sports Retro, yeah? We won 4-2. It was the game, our defender got sent off. Ronaldo scored, Vieira scored, whatever, yeah? But it was end-to-end football non-stop. The players hated each other, yeah? They all hated each other. The opponents hated each other. The ref was blowing the whistle non-stop. It was the most aggressive game. Ashley Cole, disgraceful, diving in the box in like the first 5 minutes, didn't get a penalty. But that's what I want to see, end-to-end football. When you play top 6 teams, and I want us to win, of course, but I want to see end-to-end football. Big up to Ahmed says, Mina, do you worry about the Amrabat deal now? Liverpool lost the Caicedo deal to Chelsea and they have the money. I think Liverpool will go back for Lavia. Lavia, I think, for Chelsea was always an alternative option to Caicedo. I think Chelsea did a perfect little pump fake. If you don't know basketball, you know what a pump fake is. They acted like they were going to buy Tyler Adams and Lavia just to pump fake and to go back for Caicedo. That's literally what they did. I'm not worried about the Amrabat deal. I think Liverpool will... I've seen reports that Liverpool are linked to go and get Youssouf Fofana from Monaco as an alternative. So I don't think they're looking in Amrabat's direction, to be honest. A lot of comments that I want to quickly catch up with. Martial will be playing 90 minutes games on FIFA. Damn. Martial can't even play 90 minutes on FIFA without getting injured. Big up Pyramid says, nah, Sancho's from the softest of ends. Come on, this ain't a competition of ends. This is just this is just me talking about the levels of cage football. That's it. If any of you lot grew up in cage football, then you guys know. You lot know. You guys know that's where the ballers are found in council estates. And if you want to watch an interesting documentary, there's actually a documentary about it on Netflix that Rio Ferdinand did. I forgot what it's called, but it's about why South London produce a lot of footballers. And they go around to all these grassroots teams and they go to cages, and there's some amazing ballers there, honestly. Some amazing ballers who, one of them, I actually saw them playing in League One last season. Big up to everyone that grew up in the cages. Big up to Axe says, I'm looking forward to Premier League. Aren't we all? Big up Suleiman says, Assalamu alaikum wa alaikum salam. Big up to Suleiman. Hope you're having a wonderful evening. Koala says, Sancho is a liar and an actress. To be frank, though, he's press resistance. Damn, you guys don't be rating Jadon Sancho. Coming up to the end of the show, guys, we're going to do some little predictions. First, we're going to focus on Manchester United, and then we're going to go at, across the entire league. So let me grab my phone because I have it written down. Here on my phone. Number 1, guys. Who do you guys think will be Manchester United's top goal scorer? Who do you think will be Manchester United's top goal scorer across the season? It's not just Premier League, across all competitions, including Champions League, etc. I'm saying Marcus Rashford, just because I feel like Rashford, needs to hit 20 goals in the league this year. That's what I'm hoping he does. I need 1 hat-trick from him this season at least. And also, I just feel like for him to be consistently like last season or improve on last season, it has to be for him 30 plus goals or all competitions. Obviously, nice to have some assists. He needs to pass a bit more. But if he's on fiery form, I'd rather him just shoot. Everybody said Marcus Rashford, except for John Boy. Shout out to John Boy. Says Højlund, the guy who's gonna miss the first month or so of football. I don't think Rasmus Højlund will be up there. But on the topic of Rasmus Højlund, what are you guys' expectations for him for the season? Do you expect him to hit 10 Premier League goals and 20 goals or comps? Do you expect him to hit 10 goals or comps, 15 goals or comps? Depending on how he starts the season, I think, and also depending on his fitness throughout the year. If he's playing as a number 9, do I think is 15 to 20 goals all competitions should be an expectation for a striker. I think I genuinely think that, especially in a team like Manchester United, the number of games you're going to play, the only reason why I'm saying is because, you know, he's going to be out for like the first 5-ish or 4 games of the season, and then he'll probably be eased into the starting lineup. So I don't see him probably starting or playing a full 90 until like October time, maybe, or end of September. So I say 15, 20 or comps for Rasmus Højlund. Pyramid says 15 goals or comps he must. Mike says I don't think he'll be out that long, but 20 plus. 30 goals and assists or comps. Jaden says 10 goals for sure. Prem. Ahmed says 10 to 15 goals. So we're all around the same mark. It's all roughly around the same mark. Koala says Bruno, top scorer. I don't know about Bruno. I don't see us getting a lot of penalties this season. I mean, last season, we how many penalties did we get, guys? Bruno, I wouldn't be surprised to make it top goal scorer. I'm going to come on to the topic of Bruno, of course. Rash Bandicoot, 35 goals or comps. Minimum, he must. 20 goals and assists for Rasmus Højlund. On the topic of assists, who do you think is going to be our top assister? What do you think the number of assists will be? So, for example, I see Bruno having a lot of goal contributions, as always, like he does. I think he could hit 15 to 20 assists in all competitions. In the league, I want him to hit like 12 to 15 assists. 12 to 15 assists. I think across our front line, I would like goals to be like distributed. Assists, I don't mind if it's like predominantly midfielders, wingers, etc. I need Rashford to pass more, of course. Anthony pass more. I think Anthony will probably get 10 goals, or Anthony will probably have like 20 goals and assists combined. I don't know what the split is, but I think he'll have 20 goals and assists, so 20 goal contributions across the league, across competitions, sorry. Depending on how he stays fit, because it seems like this guy has random times where he's out. Sidaf says Rashford 30 goals and assists. Bruno gonna get 35 goals, assists. Watch this space. Big up Suleiman, because he's optimistic. He's saying Rashford 30 goals and assists. Then he's saying Bruno getting 35 goals and assists. Sidaf says 20 goals and assists or comps for Anthony. Top assist Bruno Fernandes or maybe Anthony. You lot are counting Mason Mount out, and here Ahmed mentions it. Mason Mount 15 assists. I think Mason Mount will be involved. I think he will definitely be a bit active. I think he'll be getting assists, and I think he'll be getting goals as well for sure. Bruno 20 plus assists. You guys are optimistic. You guys are very, very optimistic. I respect it. Bruno will be our top assist player. 15 assists. You know what, guys? It's just, I'm amazed that you guys think that United probably have improved their finishing. This is what I'm gathering from you guys, is that you lot think that we have improved our finishing this season. Bearing in mind what our finishing looked like in pre-season, yeah? Just remember what it looked like. Now you guys are saying that we've improved our finishing, and people are going to be putting away the chances that are fed to them. Remember that year that Pogba could have broke the assist record? I'll never forget that. Big up to Dean, says, big up Mina, you are early. I am early today. If you lot realised, I streamed 1 hour earlier because Premier League's back. So I wanted everyone to, I wanted to give you lot time to watch the stream and then chill out, relax before we all go and hate on Manchester City. Mount 20 goals and assists, positivity running through our veins. Shout out to Suleiman. Mount scores at least one free kick. He has to score one free kick, because all I heard everybody talking about when we signed him or when we were signing him was, oh, he's good at set pieces. So I better see him score a free kick. I better see him score a free kick. Shout out to Dead and Garden says we'll be able to play higher with the new signings, which means Bruno will have opportunities for goals and assists. I agree. Now this is a bit more off topic, guys. How many assists do you think Andre Onana's getting? Do you think Andre Onana's going to have at least one assist in the league this year? Because I think he might. I think he might have 2 assists. I think he might have 2 assists. And I also think it'll be hilarious if there's a game where we need a goal and he goes up for a corner, a last minute corner, and he scores like a bicycle kick or something. It's just, I don't know why, guys. It's something I can imagine in my head. And you guys all seem to think he's getting assists as well. 2 assists, 2 to 4 assists, 3. Yeah, guys, honestly, I genuinely feel like he might get a few assists. We saw, like, we've seen Pickford get assists. We saw Edison, I think, had 2 assists. Alisson got an assist last year. So I think it depends on our forwards. But I can see Marcus Rashford making in that running behind, or a quick counter attack. Pinpoint pass from Andre Onana. Now, on the topic of clean sheets and goals conceded, particularly in the league, because last year we had one of the, I think, best records when it came to goals conceded. We had a better record than other teams. Obviously, what messed up our goal difference was I think it was the goal scored versus goals conceded. But last year, David De Gea, Golden Glove, kept a record number of clean sheets. I think it was at club level. What do you guys expect for us in the league? A, clean sheets. Do you think we're going to concede more goals than we did last season? Because you guys already know where this is going to go. If we are conceding more goals next season, pundits, fans, etc. are going to be blaming the goalkeeper, going to be saying, we should have kept David De Gea, etc. I think we will concede less goals. Because I think defensively we will be more compact. I think once we get Amrabat as well, it will help us defensively and in defensive transitions. So I think defensively we will be better than last season. Obviously, I think it was Newcastle who had the best defence last season. But I'm still expecting a certain number of clean sheets. I'm expecting, certain teams we shouldn't be conceding to. If we can walk away from a lot of the top 6 games with a clean sheet or 2, I will be very happy. I will be very, very happy. I think out of all the top 6 teams, maybe, we can maybe get a clean sheet against Spurs, maybe against Chelsea, maybe against Newcastle, maybe. I don't know, maybe I'm being a bit optimistic, but you guys already know what it is. And on that note, I'm going to get ready to wrap it up because Premier League is back. Pep versus his child, his love child, aka Vincent Kompany. I don't really care. I just hope they lose. I hope City lose, but you never know. You never know with the Premier League. For me, Premier League starts on Monday. I will be dropping a preview show quickly, just looking into the Wolves and United game, and then I'll be doing a stream sometime midweek to talk about the Wolves results. Of course, like I said, tomorrow I will be doing a vibe along for England versus Colombia. One more time, guys, please get your predictions in the chat. I said Manchester United, we're going to finish second this season, and we're going to make at least a quarter-final run in the Champions League, and we are going to win some sort of domestic silverware between the FA Cup, the League, and the Champions League. I know that's crazy, guys. I think we could win the FA Cup. I think if we win the Carabao Cup, that is all nice and dandy, but I think we need to win an FA Cup, we need to win a Premier League, or we need to win a Champions League. But also, aside from that, we need to be competitive in the Premier League. I think we need to be competitive in the Premier League. We need to be competitive in the Champions League, and we need to go into all the big games like we are playing with a chip on our shoulder, like we got something to prove. Especially the teams that smoked us last season, especially the teams that handed out spankings last season. We need wins, and hopefully under Eric Ten Hag, this is the season, guys. I'm hoping. For me, to be honest, when we first got him, I said his third season onwards is when I'm expecting Premier League champs, all of that stuff. But I'm feeling very optimistic going into this season. I don't know why. Maybe I'm just happy for the season to be back. I don't know why. Big up to Sidaf says we have to be realistic this year. The team changed a lot. Anana and our bench are changing. The team will have to adapt to each other. We'll struggle a bit, but we will be there. I agree. We'll get there. We'll get there for sure. Mount will have more goal contributions than Bruno. A very hot take. Big up to Leo says Champions League winners. Wishful thinking. That's serious wishful thinking. Big up Koala says I'm already bottom of Mina's FPL. It's cool, man. I'm probably somewhere at the bottom of my own league too. Big up Suleiman says second, third, a cup, and a good run in the Champions League. I agree. Make sure you guys hit the like button on the way out. I'll be back tomorrow, 11:20 a.m. Grab your cuppa, grab your breakfast if you're having a late breakfast. Come through for the vibe along. England versus Colombia, so we can see England hopefully reach the semi-finals of the Women World Cup. Of course, a lot of content coming. The season's finally here, guys. Premier League Mubarak to all of you guys. Premier League Mubarak to every single one of you guys. I'm so happy the season's back and I'm ready to watch Manchester United control my emotions all over again. You know, the ups and the downs and the highs and the lows and all of that. Big up to everybody. As always, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and until tomorrow morning, guys, it's your girl Mina. This is Friday Night Lights. Peace.